go ahead and call the meeting to order.
We got plans.
We'll start with a roll call. McKee here, Lanterman,
Here.
Friedrich,
Present.
Barenkamp,
Still here.
Nichols.
Here and present.
Perfect. I'd like to stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, agenda approval. Looks like we have a couple modifications. I have 8A and 7A, just with updated resolution.
Those are the only changes, Mr. Mayor, was updates to those two items.
Anything from council? I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, presentations, none. Open forum. Jay, if you want to walk us through it.
Yes, so open forum is the opportunity for anyone that would like to come forward and speak on something that's not on the agenda. Please address the dais. Council will hear what you have to say. There will be no action at this time, but if you'd like to come up in 3 to 5 minutes, share something not on the agenda. Mr. Mayor, we've had one comment card submitted from Mr. Brainerd.
Let's start with that.
Please state your name and your address for the record.
Name is Wendell Brainerd, 9901 Lily Pond Lane.
Thank you.
And Corcoran. Hey, thanks for entertaining me tonight. I try to pick up as little of your time as I can. I'm here to address an issue with our street, and I know many of you have gotten an email from me regarding this. And we've lived here 30-some years, not as long as some other folks, but and in the last 10 years, our road, and if you look at the pictures, I gave a copy of this. If you look at those pictures, the road in front of our house is eroding. And it's slowly but surely getting driven down into our ditch. And now people are using it almost like a bank turn at Daytona. I mean, they come around our corner of the bus, the delivery, the mail, everybody drives right down in that part of the ditch because it's slowly eroding down in that every time it rains, it washes out into the ditch. And if you've seen the pictures, you can see where it's gullied up, okay? And the city does a great job. They come in and they sweep it, that helps, but it only helps until the next rain. And then it does it all over again. And we can't mow it, and I frankly just don't have time to go out there and shovel it into the street every time. So I'm here to ask for you guys to support to try and get that road fixed in front of our house. Now, I don't know what the solution is. I honestly don't. I'm not a road guy. But I would like some consideration. I know we're low on the priority list. I get it. But yeah, we need to, I'd really like to get this taken care of. And I don't know if any of you drove over there. I saw a couple cars come through. And you can see how the crest of the road is up further on one side than the other, and the rest is just a bank. Okay? And so my objective tonight is to make you guys aware of it. Hopefully you guys can take some action to fix it. The one thing I do want to mention is hats off to Pat and his group. They do try to do a good job on that part of the road, but it needs more work than they have time for. Okay? And when, who was the other guy that was here?
Kevin Mattson.
No, but the couple, 7 years
Brad.
ago, Brad.
Oh.
When I was talking with Brad about this in 2018, I said one of the contributing factors is when they snow plow, they run that wing blade right down into our ditch. And it pushes all that gravel right into the ditch, particularly in the early winter when it's still soft. And then in the spring, if we get a late spring snow, they would blade the roadbed right down into the ditch. Okay, and when Brad was here, I mentioned it to him, and Pat and his guys have stopped doing that, and that's really helped. Okay, they do a great job of snow plowing our street, and not do that anymore, but it's not the total solution. Okay, so I'm asking that you guys consider some action, whether it's, act of God or something, to see if we can fix that road so that it's not quite so every time it rains, it washes right into the ditch, okay? And they come and sweep it, it rains again, it goes right in the ditch. And it's a cyclical thing, and it's getting worse, okay? Last 10 years, last 8 years, it's gotten considerably worse. So that's my spiel. If you guys have any questions, you got my email address if you need something. Okay?
Sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Mayor and council, if it's acceptable, Kevin Mattson is out right now, but when Kevin gets back, I talked with him briefly about this before he went on vacation, so we'll have Kevin and staff linked up with Mr. Brainerd and talk about next
That'd be
steps.
great.
Yeah, I'm
Mr.
retired, so if they need to come and see me, I'm home all day long. So,
Sounds good.
And we've got your contact information, so
Yep.
we'll be in touch, sir.
all right, perfect, thank you.
Thank
That's all I
you,
asked
thank
for
you.
the voice. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
guys.
Anybody else? I think maybe we got a card being filled out. Maybe?
She's filling out a lottery ticket.
Right.
Okay.
Who do I give this?
Or any of us.
Oh, see, I couldn't see where I put my name. I'm sorry.
It's okay, we can figure it out.
And this is for something not on the agenda, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, so please,
Thank you.
so Ms. Linda Schmidt, please state your name and your address for the record.
My name is Linda Schmidt. My address is 6501 Elm Street, Corcoran. I live in the Snyder Edition, which is out by the Horseshoe, the Trail Dusters Horse Arena. And I just wanted to know if anybody's been out there and looked around after all these heavy rainfalls, et cetera. Our culverts are plugged up. And I just wondered how and when that is going to be taken care of. I know for sure one is extremely plugged, and that's the one that goes on Elm Street. The one that goes on Horseshoe Trail, I'm not sure of it. But I know in the past it's been plugged up.
Thank you for letting us know.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Sim-
Also-
Similarly,
Yep.
Mayor and Council, we'll have our Public Works Director follow up.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, and then we'll move on to consent agenda, which consists of items 6A through 6J. Does anyone want to pull anything? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve consent agenda items 6A through 6J.
So moved. Nichols. Second, Bearcat.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
On to planning. 7A, we have Hunter Meadows, 3rd edition OS&P final plat, which is returning to us after a couple meetings ago.
About a month ago.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I can do a full formal presentation. Otherwise, if the council would prefer that we just kind of take off from where we left, I can just summarize it, the
Yeah,
feedback.
just,
Okay.
I think do that if council has questions.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So the feedback that we received in June on this item was that no farming should be occurring within the buffer zone. Some native grasses within the buffer zone were determined appropriate, and that was defined as 3% of the buffer area. No native grasses are required to be planted within the right-of-way along Oakdale Drive. The council asked the applicant to clarify what is currently planted within the previously farmed areas of the buffer zone, including the species and size. And then the plan presented on 612 otherwise qualified as thickly planted. That was just one of the standards that in our ordinance as it's written. So I did work with the applicant. He submitted a revised exhibit. There are a couple of areas where the resolution in front of you tonight does still call for some revisions. We also did a site visit where I walked through the site with him, and he provided tree counts and estimated estimated tree sizes. So in the resolution in front of you today, I have what I determined to be required plantings in terms of trying to enforce the buffer zone area and be able to close out a landscaping part of the letter of credit. And then also there would be some language that we would need to add to allow for some of the plantings within the buffer zone to deviate from our minimum size requirements. So further details in the staff report. I'm happy to go over any questions, but the only change made to the resolution is I did clarify that I need just a narrative to go along with the native planting buffer plan that provides just a 3-year maintenance plan. We did get that on the outlots for their, as part of the restoration plan if the agriculture were to go away. So it's consistent with what we've been expecting for this project as well as our wetland buffers. It's just a clarification that it would also apply to this buffer area on the
Gotcha.
2 lots.
Shouldn't, I wouldn't imagine be an issue getting that.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty painless for him. It's just a technicality to cross off.
Makes sense. Good catch. Any questions for Natalie?
Yeah,
Go for it.
how'd you like to walk around?
You know, he asked me that too when I was out there. He's like, how is it? Actually, it was pretty.
I wish I had that many good trees on my property.
So,
It turned out,
Yeah.
it's awesome, but
yeah.
thanks for the time. The one question I did have, and I think somebody may have, or I dreamt it, how are we gonna determine that he's got 3% native grasses?
So,
Who's gonna watch that, or is it?
so at this point, I'm asking for a calculation to be confirmed for the
Okay.
buffer area.
I saw it, I
And then the
just,
3% calculated from that, and then it needs to be, there should be 3% on the first lot and 3% on the second lot. And so we're just gonna go based off of, does the plan comply with what was actually get planted?
but
And
then we go out and monitor it, or just good faith?
from there, it would be, once the landscape warranty is signed off on, which so typically, once everything's planted, we start the landscaping warranty, which is about
Gotcha.
a year.
Yep,
And then from there, it would be code and complaint basis.
got it. Thank you for working with it and revising it, so.
Michelle?
Can I make a motion?
Yes?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-63, approving revisions to variance resolution.
Second.
Any further discussion?
One, maybe. Jay, did I have a conversation with you about the traffic on Heather Lane for construction and stuff?
I don't remember from Heather Lane. We talked about some different construction. Is that the one that was going through the area that wasn't designated, they're cutting through?
They were cleaning up the easement to get to that back portion of the property, and neighbors have asked, they thought that construction traffic and stuff would go through the farmland, but it's going down Heather, and when all the construction is done, Heather Lane will be repaired back to its current state or better in a year or two as far as the tarred road.
So that's, I think, something more that Kevin can answer to as far as what
Yeah.
anticipated repairs. I do know that they went out, engineering did go out and take pictures of the previous status of the
Okay.
road condition. So if there are damages, then that would be the responsibility of the developer. I don't know if there's gonna be an overlay, that would be something Kevin would.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I said the same thing of, they were not complaining about or anything, they just thought that the heavy equipment that came down to do the tree removal and stuff was gonna enter a different way. I assured them, if I'm out of line, tell me, but I said, if there is damage, the road will be repaired
That's correct.
once
Yeah.
construction is done, so that's what I'll keep saying to them, so.
Sure.
Great bunch of folks out there, all of them appreciate the stationary tree farm that's there and all the work you're doing, sir, so good job.
All right, we have a
Thanks.
motion and a second. That was discussion. Anything else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
On to unfinished business, which we just have 8A. Jay?
Yes, so Mayor and Council, we had a very aggressive plan for our space needs analysis. It's been fun having conversations with the applicants, who I at first thought would be intimidated, but they actually were invigorated by it, because they see our need and our specific marching plan in order to achieve those goals. And to put it in a different framework, I worked in a different city. In 2017, when I was there, we did a space needs analysis similar to what we're doing here. And in 2025, they're finally taking some actions on it for a lot of different reasons. And so recognizing that we have a sense of urgency that's different than a lot of the projects that they're used to working on. And so I think that's part of the reason why our request for proposal, while it was a short window rather than the typical 6 to 8 weeks, ours was 3. Over 4th of July weekend, we still received 12 submissions that were quality submissions. We narrowed it down to 4. We interviewed all four. All 4 interviewers could do the work. And so we had to really pay attention to the differentiators. So we used the criteria that were established by council. And so I share with you, can you please bring it? Oh, of course, HDMI is not going to work. So if you can look at, I put it in the packet for the update that you received this afternoon. Based upon our interviews, staff's recommendation is BKV. So the first criteria, 20% of the criteria is past record of experience and performance of similar projects, including references. BKV is a nationally recognized firm. They also brought sub-consultants, Ortel and Kraus Anderson. Kraus Anderson, also a nationally recognized firm. Ortel has been our architect on multiple previous projects here in the city. They're currently our architect for the park project building. So a deep awareness of Corcoran, has already done a lot of engagement with Corcoran. And then they have unmatched breadth of experience in doing similar analysis. They listed more than 200 cities. And then in their submission, they outlined with details Roseville, South St. Paul, Golden Valley, Red Wing, Buffalo, Fridley, Brooklyn Center, Rosemount, and Orono. And then I spoke with Chanhassen because I live right there, and I talked with their city administrator. They have their city hall is current, their civic campus is currently under construction. BKV did that, and then they're also doing a community center there. And so they were highly recommended, and they stand out in the field with their breadth of experience. Next was the qualifications of staff assigned. They brought the most people to the table, and they brought primaries, no sub. So Paul Mitchell is the partner in charge. Michael Healy, I actually worked with him on a project in Shakopee previously, so that was a positive experience. Kelly Naylor is the planner, designer. Andrew Cooper is with Ortel that has done our architectural designs previously. He was on the, and then Maury Solomon was the Kraus Anderson Facility Assessment Manager. So they brought their 18 to the table, and that's who's actually going to be doing our assessment. That was pretty encouraging. Next was a clear understanding of the project with a work plan that offered the most engagement opportunities. Some of the other proposals had a couple of engagement opportunities. For the space needs analysis, this one they have 8 total work sessions. That's sitting down. So what happens sometimes with these space needs analysis, they go, hey, give us the data, push it to us, give it to us. Instead, they have 8 sessions where they're sitting down with staff, sitting down, we just mentioned fire service earlier in the work session with our fire service partners. They're talking to the people rather than just making it data transfer. And then one of the really persuasive things is what they're going to provide us afterwards in terms of product was very different than the other submissions. And so they're going to give us some deliverables that are going to allow us in our long-term planning in other areas that as long as we continue to maintain those products, it's actually a really helpful solution. And then finally, the fee, they were the second lowest of all the fees, and they were the lowest of the 4 that we interviewed. And so $25,960, we believe this is the best value for the city. So staff would recommend that council authorize us to go forward to contract with BKB to do our space needs analysis, subject to your questions.
Any questions for Jay?
What were, Mr. Mayor?
Sure.
What were we originally thinking this was going to cost? What did we
A lot
guess?
more than 29,000.
There's the reason I'm asking.
So I thought it was going to be 80 to 150,000.
Okay.
That's what I've seen in some other ones. The fact that it came out that, and then in the other ones, they came in right around the $38,000 to $40,000 range. We received really competitive bids, and my response to why, because that should be the reasonable next question, is because this is the first phase of 3 phases to complete this project. And so somebody that can come forward and get in with the first phase builds a relationship and has the potential to be the partners for the second and third phase. As I mentioned in other cities, you do this first phase, and then it doesn't move for
Yeah.
5, 6, 10 years. And so for them, this is the first step in what they see as an opportunity to complete a project in a very different timeline. I believe that's why we got very competitive bids
Okay.
and why we received so many submissions.
The follow-up to that is, what can we do to help our staff be more comfortable in their cubby holes now, pigeon holes? I mean, everybody's got some pretty tight spaces and stuff. Is there anything we can do to help them?
Well, we have some
Elbows to
great
elbows is
chairs.
tough.
That's been a
Okay.
helpful solution.
All right. I'm asking, I just, the patience is outstanding, but
Well, you've given us latitude to make some decisions, so if you haven't been on
some
that
pretty
side,
tightly spaced.
yeah, staff has taken the initiative to improve the kitchen area. That has really improved quality of life.
Okay,
And we're managing the constraint operational environment by, we have engagement spaces. We've converted what were some office spaces so that we have some engagement spaces so
Okay.
that people can have. It's hard to have a private conversation
Yeah.
in the cube. And probably the most helpful thing that we can do is to continue to keep this on track
Yeah.
so that we can provide the spaces that are needed. And it's not just that side of the hall, it's not just the administrative side.
I'm talking the whole place.
Yeah, the locker room in the police department, everyone's on top of each other. Storage areas across the city, Public Works doesn't have what they need. And they just did a self-performed project that helped keep our costs down. But to your point, I think our staff is maintaining a remarkable positive attitude.
Tell them thank you, please.
And one other thing, in the short term, we could all help donate to JCB's Candy Bowl, because that tends to brighten up the mood of the office. At least when I go by, it makes me happy that there's a lot of good candy in there, so that's one little thing we can do.
If
Other
I
than
bring a
that,
bigger bowl, would that help too?
sure.
But you have to fill it.
And you have to find space on JCB's desk.
Yeah,
There's no more space for a bigger ball.
Hold my feet.
She'll come up with a solution, she's creative.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So, and working remotely, I think too might be helpful if they're not already doing that. It just helps with the noise
Yeah.
part and not having everybody all at once in that same space.
Well, I do want to thank you for supporting that. So the flexibility that you have allowed us to offer our employees, both in terms of a flex schedule. So if you recall, we switched here so that we're open 9 hours Monday through Thursday, 4 hours on Friday. That's been really helpful for morale. And then as people have things emerge, we are having a lot of people seize the opportunity to work remotely when it makes sense. And we're allowing the departments to manage that as they see fit. So thank you for that support in order to offer that flexibility. If you've seen in the media, not every organization is allowing that right now, and we appreciate that kind of support. And I also want to say that as we're offering that, I haven't seen anybody abusing it, which is obviously a concern for some folks, why some organizations are responding and pulling people in. They perceive that there's abuse. There's been none of that.
Okay, anything else? All right, then I will make a motion to authorize staff to move forward with the engagement of the recommended contractor BKV to conduct the space needs assessment for city facilities.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Moving right along. On to 9A, which is first crack at 2026 budget goals and priorities.
So Mayor and Council, we, staff are working on the budget proposal, and you'll see that preliminary budget discussion will be at a work session on August 28th on the schedule. But as we're doing that, if there were any goals that haven't already been outlined that we're working towards, or if you want to emphasize particular focus for us, it would be really helpful to ensure that the product that we're bringing forward aligns with what you want to see. So this isn't, the reason we haven't spelled out, well, what about this and what about this, is because we really want your feedback from what's on your mind. We've received feedback before, and we're already moving in the direction to align with those things, i.e. the goals outlined in the strategic planning sessions that we've done. So we have that feedback, but if there's anything else in terms of goals and priorities for the 2026 budget.
I'll start with just a couple minor things I have, and stuff I've discussed with you, Jay, and I think in general we've brought up before at council, but one of them's kind of addressed already with legal requirements for our city website, getting an update there, and I think that was on consent as well. Similarly, any additional resources we need to allocate to get Laserfish going, and also to get that project wrapped up, and also get the online portal version. Medina is a good example of how that looks in practice. It's super useful, I think.
Plymouth too.
This Plymouth at the same, both for residents and for commissioners and for council members. You can go back, pick a day, click on meeting minutes or agendas from 1992, and have all the documents right there. It's really cool. So I'd say any resources we need to make that a reality would be something I'd be interested in seeing what that number is. Similarly, I think we talked about this a couple years ago maybe, but haven't in the last year. Some sort of Municode or similar type service for our city code. Rogers and Dayton both have good examples. I think different services, but that do the same kind of thing, where it's just a lot more searchable, a lot more readable. It's got all sorts of functionality. You can search different code provisions, click it, keeps tabs of which ones you want, and then print just the provisions that you were looking for, or anything really honestly better than just one giant PDF that crashes when you get 2/3 of the way down it. So that would be great. And then the only other thing I have is maybe starting to look at, we've talked about this in the past as well, starting to look at some additional, and maybe this is not a 2026 thing, but it's further out in the future. I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase this. Adding to some of our communications work, I think Woodbury and Egan are maybe two examples of cities that do a really good job with like their YouTube channels, and doing like a council update where they'll have a council member answer a few questions, or mayor's minute, or a state of the city type thing. Or Woodbury in particular does some really good stuff with, they'll take a random code provision or a project and highlight it and do a 2 to 3 minute video about that, and just get it out there so people know what's going on in the city, or know what a new ordinance is, or.
One that they started in Shakopee that might
Shakopee
actually
is
really
another
help us is called The Dig. And with all the development that's happening here, it's a short little 2-minute video that talks about, we're here at this development today, and it helps raise awareness and educate the public on how the community's transforming. I don't know that we can steal The Dig, but maybe.
I had Woodbury, Shakopee, and Egan as the 3 example cities, so. Shakopee does do a good job with that. So yeah, that's all I had for initial stuff.
Could I piggyback on that for just
Sure.
one item? I was thinking too, Municode is a pretty easy to use. I would say maybe look at Municode, and then if it would be possible when we do that revision, if we could include our charter as an appendix within our code, would be nice, just to reference that, to make sure when we're reviewing things that we've reviewed, if it is also something that's included in our charter.
I don't know, it could just be like another chapter.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Something exciting with your feedback there is the website updates already working, and then the Laserfish online portal, like it's happening.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's,
That's exciting.
So that's great. You want to do that. We won't have to budget for that in 2026.
Even
We're
better.
already knocking it out.
Even better.
So.
Great. Anyone else?
I have a few.
Go for it.
I have 3 categories of things. First category of things, quality of life improvement. I would like to see us use park dedication beyond Heritage Park next year and start developing either the one by Tavera or the one by Bellwether as far as, more fully fledged neighborhood parks and/or one of the open space parks. We have got good momentum now. Hopefully it'll be relatively easy to continue rolling forward. I think some level of budget for fire service improvement, given what we just talked about in the work session, whether that means helping to support on-duty crews or a medical first response capability. I don't know what the best bang for the buck will be, but I feel like that's a good place for us to focus some of our attention. My next category is overall efficiency, and I would encourage us to consider getting the city a ChatGPT or similar enterprise license for key personnel to help them manage their workload and tasks more efficiently. For us, where I work, it's like $50 a month per person, so it's relatively inexpensive and it can really expand your productivity. So as we're trying to get more done with fewer people, or not having the footprint to grow the number of people that we have, could be a good way to help meet some of those needs. And then savings potential, we've had a lot of construction expense this year with the water system and city/heritage park. I'm continuing to be interested in at what point does it make sense for us to have internal project management and construction oversight capability so that we can avoid the 10% adders that seem to get tacked onto a lot of those projects.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, good. Got a nod? I can't see.
We're good.
Okay, perfect. I think that's it.
So we'll be back.
And we'll move on to staff reports. Jay, anything?
Just a moment. Yes, so one thing that has brought to our attention, if you're traveling on 101 headed north towards Dayton off of 30, you'll see signs for water restrictions in Maple Grove. And a question was raised that because we are under contract with Maple Grove, do we have an obligation to also adhere to the water restrictions? So did some investigation and discovered that within our agreement, we do have an obligation. And so at this time, unless council directs otherwise, staff would be recommending that we include in an upcoming billing awareness of water restrictions that adhere with what Maple Grove is communicating. It's important to note that when we investigated, we discovered that while they're posting for awareness, they're not doing any enforcement. And so as a complaint-based community for code enforcement, this seems the best solution to raise awareness of water usage. We have had some complaints during certain windows of time as folks have come in and said, my water bill is way up. And well, that's because you're watering your lawn so much. And where it becomes a challenge that staff is beginning the conversation is the guidance that some of our new homeowners are receiving in terms of what's required to water their new sod.
Less than what they said of that guaranteed.
Yes. So that's some of the new homeowners are really shocked that I'm doing what they told me to do and then I got this crazy water bill. And so so some sort of awareness, first step for us would be the water restrictions that do apply through our utility billing.
For example, that would be a great topic for a YouTube video communication thing building on what I was talking about earlier.
Or even in the newsletter.
Or both, yeah.
I will say I see a lot of people running their sprinklers during rainstorms.
Oh, no.
And I know we're not allowed, but
I see
they're
cities running
supposed
their
to
water.
put these rain sensors on the systems. I don't know if they don't actually do it and we're missing it in inspections, or if they're failing and people
Or if
don't know
they're
how to
overriding
replace
it.
them. But that might be another thing to cover in a newsletter or something like that to help people.
I will say I have not
Resolve.
turned on my sprinklers this year because we got so much rain and my lawn looks better than it did last year.
So Mr. Mayor, I believe that's the only thing at this time.
Do we know why Maple Grove has a water restriction?
That's a good question.
That was
That's what I meant too.
I can, so it's not uncommon for all the metro cities to have some sort of water restrictions because in a typical this window of time, July and August, we aren't experiencing the level of rain that we have. In fact, in the past, our lawns would be brown or dirt. And so with that, it's also a fire restriction. People don't want the brown or dirt lawns. And so then that impacts the water level across the city when everybody's dumping that much water on their lawn, which then makes it hard to project what the water production needs are. So that's the challenge, is managing water production.
Okay, so
With
it's not
predictability.
drought related, it's
No.
system.
So there are cities that have drought related, but for the way that we're producing water, it's how do you make sure that you have enough water to meet emerging needs so that you don't end up in capacity issues. We don't have the capacity to meet the need. That's been my, do you have anything to add or change to that, Lauren? Does that line?
you explained it well.
Okay.
Could you send me that contract when you have a chance? The contract, I've seen it before, but I'd like to go over that part. Thank you. Any council updates? Or anything else from staff?
No, sir.
Council updates?
The Lions are awesome folks.
Yes, they are.
The rodeo was outstanding, 19,500 spectators over the 5 events. I made it to 4 of them. I didn't go Saturday. Jay was out there chasing cows' tails and trying to get the prizes with the kids and on Saturday afternoon. But if you guys have never gone, please go. Public, anybody listening, please promote it. And as I've said many, many times, the Lions need volunteers. Huge. A huge thank you to our 3 fire contract folks. I said it to them at the work session, I'm going to say it here. We are fortunate to have what we have right now, and it's neat to see them on board with our future on fire services and stuff. So also a shout out to our friends at the stanchion. 700 participants Friday night, 1,700 people Saturday night. And huge thanks. I think we all got the email from the owner stating thank you to our police department. Just their presence means a lot and did help a lot. So that's my public service announcements. Jake, I know I asked you, did we get anything on that communication pole that was broke now 7 weeks ago?
No, I raised that up, and so we have connected with, what's the name of that? CenturyLink. In fact, Lauren has been trying to communicate with them, and she's been getting a lot of the Heisman or ghosting, and so we don't have a lot of recourse with CenturyLink. And then since it's not our property, there's liability for us if we try to solve that problem ourselves. And so it's unfortunate. I know the property owners have tried to communicate with them. Staff has proactively tried to communicate with them.
Thanks.
We're stuck.
We are handcuffed.
And tracks with their level of
Stuck in the middle.
service as,
Jokers to the left.
And again, the only problem is the taller Amazon trucks and stuff can't get in their driveway because of it.
Yeah.
That's frustrating.
We've done what we can do.
Okay.
And if somebody has another suggestion other than the CenturyLink contacts, we're happy to try something else, but they're not cooperating and we don't have recourse.
Appreciate it. And then one comment. It is amazing that the communication that went out about the roundabout proposed traffic change at 19 and 117. My request to just have the county at least put in a stop sign, that's too expensive, but the cost of the 4 big signs announcing that there'll be traffic improvements in 2027 at the intersection, another distraction. I'm very disappointed in Hennepin County, so if anybody from Hennepin County is listening, please give me a call.
How
It's
many people
sad.
do we have online?
Probably nobody.
Definitely not from Hennepin County, but
It's
fair point.
it's so disappointing. I saw 3 close calls over the last week, and that's with me going up and through to try and understand what Hanover is doing with their 3 roundabouts and stuff, and the implications and stuff. Very, very close calls, and I still believe a stop sign to turn it into a four-way stop would be advantageous, but not much more we can do other than to contact our county commissioners. So thank you for letting me talk.
Of course.
Yeah. Two quick things. I know we can't do anything about the semi-trucks that are driving back and forth through to get to Tavera now, but the J-braking is really bad. I've actually gotten some calls from neighbors just saying, is there anything, can we put up a sign? Even if we can't enforce it, at least if there's a sign that says no J-braking. Because it is quite startling, and it happens frequently just because there's so many trucks going in and out. And then there are subcontractors that are working past 7 p.m. And I did call one night, and one of our officers called me back, was great. He went out there, it was 9 o'clock at night. And it's on the side that is between our two homes, kind of in that area. And then 2 nights later, they were doing it again. And I wasn't home, but my daughter called me and said, Mom, they're still working out there. I know you called. I'm just letting you know. So I'm just passing that on. Maybe we can relay that information so they can get it out to their contractors to say, hey, no working past 7.
Definitely remind them, but also for anyone listening and anyone hearing your daughter, see them, call
Yeah.
every
Yeah,
time.
particularly if it is the same people violating, then they would be
Okay.
ticketed. But if we don't know about it, then the police aren't able to follow up on it.
I was thinking the second night, they probably hadn't had a chance to say anything,
Well,
you know, to relay. So I just,
I received your complaint, so we reached
Okay.
out to Lennar, so they should have had some time to have some
oh,
communication.
okay.
So if it's the same people, just kind of pushing limits, then
Okay.
we have to get the
Okay,
police out there.
sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks for bringing it up. Only thing I will add is just to piggyback off of Dean's first item about the rodeo and all that, upcoming events. Whole bunch of them. Night Night on August 5th, Summerfest on August 10th at the One Room Schoolhouse, Country Days, the 15th and 16th, I believe gates open at 6 for concerts both nights. And the Family Day is 10 to 4 on the 16th. St. Thomas has their event, I don't have the date exactly, it's around the 18th.
August 17th.
August 17th. Thank you, that makes sense. On a Monday.
17.
And then I believe it is the tractor pull on August 23rd at Lions Park. And then the demo derby on September 6th at Lions Park. So a whole bunch of fun stuff coming up. And then at some point, Bark in the Park, maybe, still?
Yeah, it's September
September something.
12th.
Mr. Mayor, to your point too, if you haven't been by the Birchfield School, the roof is on, everything, it's gorgeous.
It
The cedar shakes.
Honestly, if you haven't been to Summerfest, I'd recommend you go for an hour. It's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite events in town every year. And it's a really cool piece of history.
Huge
Got little
history.
ones. It's a fun little thing to show them. Or if you're a history nerd like me, it's fun to go look at.
It's a time capsule.
It really is, and it's the only one-room schoolhouse that's still standing, that's open to the public at any point in the year for tours in the state, so pretty cool, unique piece of history we got there. With that, if we don't have any.
One more, August 14th, just a reminder, work session, economic development is going to be the topic of discussion. The specialists that we've been talking about that coming in to raise some awareness and for us to consider, do we want to contract to do a deeper look at going to the questions, are rooftops or, so this is another tack. We're getting the data from Northland on the tax side of things, and then this is market analysis that helps us look at what's happening with the markets today. Continental brought this person to us. They're contracting with them. This is a potential opportunity for us to join what's happening for analysis and get some cost reduction that will also positively contribute to the comp plan.
Wonderful.
And when is that?
August 14th, next council meeting.
Thank you.
So the next two meetings we have work sessions.
Next two meetings. we have
And
work sessions.
5:30 or 5?
So I don't know that we need to do 5 for that one. If 5:30 works, the
5:30
reason that we did earlier is because we wanted to make sure we provided something to eat, but if we don't provide something to eat, we can go with 5:30.
How about for the next one?
For the budget discussion, it's gonna have to be 5.
Is that the 28th?
That's the 28th.
Okay.
So we'll go with 5:30 on August 14th.
You could just send a reminder out about the times.
Absolutely.
Perfect. And with that, if there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move
Second.
to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.